2 days. That's how long the security footage shows me standing at my own front gate, punching in a code that used to work every single day of my life. I had 11 units of insulin left in my bag, and the man who cut off that gate knew exactly why I needed it to open. So how does a woman who paid every HOA fee on time end up locked outside her own street, watching her blood sugar climb because she asked one uncomfortable question at a meeting? Stick around, because by the end of this video, the man who locked that gate is going to stand up in front of 200 of his neighbors and resign on the spot. In the next few minutes, you're going to see the night I climbed over a cinder block wall in my pajamas because it was faster than waiting for someone to let me in. You're going to read the email the board president sent by accident, the one where he admits in writing that my account was paid in full 3 days after he told a sheriff's deputy it wasn't. And you're going to be in the room with 200 of my neighbors the night I read that email out loud. My name doesn't matter for this story, so I'll just tell you what matters. I'm 34. I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was 9 years old, which means insulin isn't optional for me, it's oxygen. I work as a medical billing auditor for a hospital system, which means I spend my days doing one very specific thing, matching numbers on a ledger to numbers on a bank statement, and noticing when they don't match. I moved into Ridgemont Trails 2 years ago, right after my divorce. I picked it because it was gated, quiet, and the HOA brochure promised monitored, reliable access for residents and emergency vehicles. For someone like me, that sentence mattered more than the pool or the clubhouse. I went to my first HOA meeting for one reason. They just raised our monthly fees 40% with no explanation on the agenda. I asked politely to see the reserve fund numbers. That's it. That's the whole crime. The board president was a man named Gregory Voss. Every single year, like clockwork, a brand new white Range Rover showed up in his driveway in a neighborhood where most of us drove 10-year-old sedans. At that first meeting, when I asked about the reserve fund, he smiled at me the way you'd smile at a child who'd wandered into a business meeting. She said, "I just want to see the audit." He said, "This isn't a democracy, it's a neighborhood and I run it." What none of us knew yet was that our reserve account, the one meant for roof repairs and road paving, was short almost $190,000, money Voss had quietly moved to cover a real estate deal that had gone bad. Here's what I understood sitting in my car after that meeting that Gregory Voss didn't. In most states, an HOA cannot suspend a homeowner's access to common infrastructure, and a security gate counts without written notice, a stated reason, and a chance to dispute it. That's not a courtesy. It's due process, and it's written into most state HOA statutes. On top of that, if a board restricts your access specifically because you spoke up at a meeting or asked for financial records, that's retaliation, and in a lot of states, that's independently illegal, separate from whatever delinquency they claim on paper. And here's my ace in the hole, the one Voss never saw coming. I audit ledgers for a living. I know that verbal explanations disappear, but paper trails don't. Every payment I ever made to that HOA had a bank record attached to it, time-stamped, dated, uncontestable. Voss was about to build his entire case against me on a story. I was about to build mine on a spreadsheet. Quick question before we keep going. Has your HOA ever used a fee, an amenity, or access to your own street to punish you for speaking up? Type it in the comments. I read every single one, and I promise you, mine is not even close to the worst story down there. 2 weeks after that meeting, a letter showed up in my mailbox. It said my account was 60 days delinquent, $412 past due, and that late fees would start accruing immediately. I'd never missed a payment in my life, so I didn't argue over the phone. I did what I do at work. I pulled my bank statements, printed every transaction, dated and highlighted, and mailed the board a certified letter with copies attached. I thought that would be the end of it. I filed my copy in a folder labeled HOA and went back to my normal life. I had no idea that letter wasn't a mistake. It was the opening move. 3 weeks later, my key fob stopped working at the main gate. When I called the management company, a woman told me, almost bored, that unresolved delinquent accounts had their gate access suspended per board policy, and that I could use the service entrance on the back road instead. Fine. Annoying, but fine. Until the night the service gate jammed too, at 9:40 p.m., on a night I'd left my house with exactly one insulin pen in my bag because I'd planned to be gone 30 minutes. Months later, someone will ask me, when did you know this was deliberate? I'll tell them it was that night, standing at a gate that wouldn't open on a 15-minute walk that should have taken 2. What Voss didn't know is that his own management company kept him copied on every resident dispute email, and one Tuesday his assistant hit reply all instead of reply. The email was addressed to the whole board, and in it Voss wrote that my account had, in his words, always been current, and that the delinquency notice was sent to get her attention after the reserve fund questions. 11 board members and I got that email at the exact same time. I didn't respond. I just saved it, forwarded it to my personal account, and printed 3 copies. 2 nights later was the bad one. My blood sugar was climbing, my pen was nearly empty, and the main gate still wouldn't take my code. I climbed the cinder block wall by the mailboxes in my pajamas because it was faster than calling anyone, scraped my hands open doing it, and knocked on a neighbor's door at 11 p.m. He said, "Get in the car, we're going to the pharmacy right now." That was the night I decided the folder in my closet wasn't going to stay a folder anymore. The annual meeting was 3 weeks later, 200 and change chairs, standing room in the back. Voss ran the agenda like nothing had happened. When the floor opened for comments, I stood up, read the delinquency notice out loud, then read his own email out loud, word for word, in front of every one of his neighbors. The room went dead silent, and then it didn't. Someone in the back yelled, "Where's my reserve fund money, Greg?" Voss stood there for maybe 10 seconds, then said he was resigning effective immediately, and walked out before the vote even happened. Shersid, Förtroes nu hinsleni anxarials. Would you have waited as long as I did, or would you have gone public the first week? Tell me below, and yes, that room from the very beginning of this video is exactly this one, Shersid. Let me give you the numbers separate one at a time. 2 days locked outside my own street, 11 units of insulin between me and a hospital visit. 1 email, 4 sentences long, that proved every word I'd said. 0 apologies to this day from the man who almost let a spreadsheet decide whether I lived through a Tuesday night. If there's one thing I'd tell you, sitting where I'm sitting now, never argue with an HOA out loud. Argue with them on paper, because paper is the only thing they can't smile their way out of. So to answer the question from the beginning, the woman who locked that gate got exactly what a spreadsheet and 200 witnesses can do to someone who thinks a neighborhood is his personal kingdom. If this kept you until the end, subscribe, because next week's case is about a widow, a lien, and a bank statement that changed everything.